Hey everyone, right now I want to show you that out here in the desert, we're in Death Valley right now, they don't have culverts anywhere. They just let it cross over the road because it rains so little. See this here? The water just pushed right across the road, and as soon as it's done, they come out here with heavy-duty front loaders and snow plows, and they just push it off the road. We drove through a lot of that stuff earlier. In just a moment around the corner, I'm going to get out and I'm going to show you another one that's a bit worse. Alright everyone, this is the same stream bed. It crosses again right here. Usually this area has so much or so little rain that it never crosses, but when it does, this is what happens. Let's get out and take a little look at this. Alright. So check this out, all this erosion here. This is quite a big riverbed, so at some point in the past, it definitely flooded through here a lot worse. It may have been this time. Could have been. Look at all this dried up mud. That's so cool. Look at this. So cool how this moves around. You can tell it probably left a good amount of silt here in the road, and they just came by with something similar to a snowplow or a front loader right off the side. All this gravel was in the road, all this mud was in the road. Push it right off to the side. A lot of times when these things dry up, they don't even leave behind that much. You may have trouble going across it in something like a sedan or two-wheel drive, but most vehicles that would be in this area are 4x4s, and they could go over it with ease. But not when it's flowing. I love this deep crevice it carved. Looks pretty awesome. But now you'll notice that when the water was flowing here, it was so deep that it didn't just cross here. A good amount of it flowed right down the road. That's why you see, if you look over here, you can definitely see evidence that water was in here, flowing pretty heavily, and it's eroded a good amount too. So this pile of debris and rocks may not necessarily be from one storm. This mud may have been a totally different storm. Really nice to see. You can see very minimal damage to the roadway. I know we just had to do some treacherous detour on some back roads because this road is blocked because of another massive washout just a couple miles back. Here's another area, a whole bunch of water went across, and you see they just plowed the mud out of the way to get the road back open quickly. Yeah, that mud there, that looks like that could have been pretty deep. Like before it hardened, you probably could have got stuck in that. This road I'm on is really cool now. Do you see the giant cracks and erosion crevices on both sides of the road? This entire thing got covered in sand earlier this year during the flash flooding. Doesn't look like it was covered in much. Just coming by with a piece of heavy machinery. They just cleared it, and I don't even see the pile. Oh, I do on the left a bit. I guess the pile, they definitely smoothed it out. They didn't leave a pile here. Yeah, I can see that all along it. See how the crevice doesn't come up to the road? It looks like they actually used the debris to fill in the crevice next to the road so it wouldn't cause erosion further. But this is amazing. Probably for the past mile it's been like this. Just constant evidence of water going across. And it's still going. As far as the eye can see, water was crossing here in so many spaces. Now this dip here looks like this would be the more common spot for water to cross. It looks like it has a actual riverbed. We're still going by many crevices. There's a really big crevice. So much water was going across here. And there's still a few of them. I've probably driven a mile since I shut the camera off, and we're still seeing water crossing here. It's amazing how much water this place got earlier this year. They got enough rainfall in about an hour that they usually get in over a year. It just crossed. It looks like every single spot, every part of this road was probably covered in it. In fact, I know a lot of it was. I've seen videos of people coming out here right after it happened with rugged vehicles. It wasn't even that bad at that time. Alright, this part of the road you can see the pile. They definitely didn't smooth it out here. Well, part of it they did. They smoothed it out enough to make a shoulder and fill in the crevices. Back there they completely smooth it out. So now at this point we've been driving probably 5 miles. Every part of the road had water crossing it. It's amazing how fast they cleaned up most of this damage. There's only one section of road back there that's still closed on this stretch anyways. There are other complete roads shut down as a result. But as you can see, it probably left no more than a foot of sediment in any spot on this road. That's why all the rugged people with off-road vehicles were able to come out here. You should check out some of those videos. I've seen people, they were coming out and showing all the damage right after it happened. They were even getting a bunch of people's cars out of here with their winch lines. Because it seemed like only the people with two-wheel drive are the ones getting stuck on it. It wasn't that bad. So we traveled a few more miles. You can see water was still crossing absolutely everywhere. Now we got a few bushes hanging around. Yep, see those deep crevices we're still driving by. I wouldn't be surprised if this is going on for probably the next 10 miles. All the way around this salt lake, or whatever you want to call this. For a while back there, we were actually below sea level on this road. And at one point, we were up above 5,000 feet. It's a wild road. Check this out. You see that? We just went over a bunch of dried up mud. I've seen that a couple times driving here. I think that they started clearing all this rocks and debris out of the way before it stopped flowing. And that's like the residual stuff that was still crossing after they moved everything. And that's why you can see the muddy water lines on stuff. There was still a bit of water trickling when they moved it. And then later on they probably came by and scraped off that little bit of mud. Because you see here, there was a lot of mud crossing, which I imagine would have been residual. When this happened, that salt flat to my right probably had a lot of water in it. Because I don't believe it can get out of there. lot of these salt flats we've been driving around, the water just pools there and evaporates. It really has no way to get out. It looks like we're getting into even more damage. It's getting worse again. It got a little better. Now the crevices are very deep again. You gotta see, yeah, this is a lot of damage. I imagine before this happened, we would have seen a lot more bushes, a lot more grass and desert plants growing. I think they probably all got buried because everything you're seeing here is all new sediment. In some places, multiple feet of it. It's all new sediment that washed down here from the mountains really quickly. It looks like most of this area got disturbed by water this year. Alright, a little bit less erosion in this area. Here's a gigantic crevice where water was gushing. Still a bunch of erosion damage around here. We're coming into a little town. See a lot of palm trees too. I just noticed that I began getting really hot, and I looked down and it's 80 degrees. The top of the mountain where I said it was around 5,000 feet, it was just in the 40s. That's such a temperature swing just from driving the past hour. It's probably going to get even hotter out here. But it's a lot better than I expected. When I first headed out here, I expected in this area I was going to be experiencing temperatures in the hundreds. But over the past week of traveling out here, things really changed. Most days in the forecast actually are in the 60s. Today's just one of the hotter days. That sign just said now we're 100 feet above sea level. Wow. Look at this house. Take a look at this house in the middle of the desert or resort, whatever that might be. They planted so many hundreds, maybe even thousands of palm trees around it. This is kind of weird seeing all these trees in the middle of the desert. You know they've probably got to be watering them. That's really pretty. See those greenish hills? I wonder if that's copper. I know earlier today I picked up a couple bright blue rocks just from the copper, exposing it to the air. It turns nice bluish green colors. It looks really nice. That's what I'm thinking the mountain is here. There is still a lot of water flowing right there in that crevice. If you saw it coming out near the edge of the road. It's very pretty here. Oh, there you can see more water in the drainage ditch. Actually surprised to see water flowing out here. Plants seem to be nice and green next to that. Maybe that's what they're using to water all those palm trees back there. Oh, I see utility lines all completely torn out of the ground back there on the left. Take a look at this area. You can tell this whole place was underwater. By the looks of it, all this water here had to squeeze down that canyon where the road is towards where all those palm trees are. Where I'm driving now looks like it was part of a raging river not too long ago. Yep, the poles, they're all new. These reflectors are all new. Everything must have just got destroyed in this water's path. Looks like the water typically is supposed to flow way over to my right, but that's a pretty shallow riverbed, not much elevation, and it looks like it completely crosses right here. Yep, they must have had to clear 3, maybe more feet of debris out of that dip. Right here you can tell all kinds of water crossing. You can see the water lines over to my left. Those might not be water lines, but definitely between the hills here was all raging water. This area just looks absolutely amazing. It doesn't look like the water crossed here. Still see a lot of bushes that didn't get killed during it. It's mostly tumbleweeds or similar plants, it looks like. Yep, there's enough elevation loss. It looks like all the water stayed put down there. And quickly, there's really no elevation loss. So I'm sure some water was here. And look at that road. See how they had to plow? It looked like in the winter when you plow a snowbank, that little road we just drove by. Alright, now that we're in this area, it doesn't look like there was any erosion damage near the road, and it doesn't look like the ground was disturbed anytime recently. Lots of plants growing. Off to my left, it looks like there is a riverbed, but it's nowhere near the road. Hope today's video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. This crater is making massive clouds of dust. I saw it from way back there. Check this out. We're going through Valley Junction, and everything in town except for the motel seems to be closed. It's kind of interesting to see this place. Yep, the hotel's open, which is the same building as this opera house. It like wraps around. More abandoned buildings. They're all fenced in, and they say no trespassing, but I'm gonna get a close-up look. Just let me turn around. Alrighty, I'm pulling along very slow now. Let's check out these really cool abandoned structures. A lot of them are boarded up. Windows all shattered. A couple of the buildings further back there look active, but nothing near the road is. Really interesting. And this is the opera house, and the other side of it is a hotel. Everything you see wrapping around is the hotel, which is still in business. I just turned around because we found another one, but no, this one also has a no trespassing sign right at the end of the fence. And cool, there's a sign. There's horses running around here. Dust devil over there to the left. Just passed over the road over the past couple minutes. that's an incredible dust devil just crossed the road. Wow, look at all the dust it just left in the road. Wow, it just went through a bunch of cows. Hopefully they close their eyes. Wow, that's an incredible dust devil just crossed the road. Wow, look at all the dust it just left in the road. Wow, it just went through a bunch of cows. Hopefully they close their eyes. Very beautiful out here. Very steep roads. Right now I'm taking a walk up this road. Lots of rocks in the road. Probably placed here intentionally. What do you think? So you can't drive up here. I saw this from the main road. It looks like an abandoned mine shaft. If it looks interesting, I'll grab a headlamp and we'll go in there a little bit. Who knows, it might be collapsed. I want to check it out first. Lots of really cool rocks, lots of piles of elk poop. And this looks like maybe buildings used to be here. There's a lot of pieces of lumber and pieces of metal roof laying around the whole place. Little section of culvert. Looks like a good place to find fossils, maybe. That's not a well, is it? It is. Doesn't go very deep, though. It does look like it often fills with water, though. I didn't really expect to be able to get into this thing, and I still doesn't look like you'd be able to go into it. Looks like it's been blocked a long time ago. Yeah. Might be just a place to load trucks, dumping in through the top. There's a piece of sheet metal on this thing that keeps rattling every time the wind goes. At first I thought it was a rattlesnake, but it's not. Yeah, this thing doesn't look like it was ever a mine. From a distance, it looked like it was a door in the side of the mountain, but that's not true. It just looks like a place maybe a loader would come up here and maybe somehow it would fall into trucks. Right over here is a bunch of small foundations with crumbling shacks. You see over here is another large foundation that they dumped piles on for some reason. Look at all these ants, and look how wet it is coming out of the hole. Take a look at this foundation. It's all deformed and cracking. You see the whole ground shifted. It's more like a bowl now. Once again, they put a whole bunch of rocks here on the old road. They don't want someone going out here and getting stuck. Although, anyone who would be going out here, this wouldn't really stop them. I mean, if you were off-roading, you could just drive through this stuff. Not too difficult. Now, these rocks would stop basically anything from going through here. Those rocks I showed at the beginning, anyone with a lifted vehicle could probably go over those really slow or with crawl control. It looks like maybe they were storing something out here. Like, look at this red soil. It looks like it was probably put here. It's on top of the foundation. Maybe this is what they were loading. Maybe they were getting clay out of these hills. And that's what that is back there, a silo, maybe to get into the trucks. You know, people always ask how I can wear around my rubber boots. And no, they do not give me blisters. They're actually beneficial in almost every case, unless it's super hot out, and even that doesn't bother me. I just get sweaty feet. Not only are they good for walking through mud, puddles, it's also good for walking through beach sand in a place like this. You can walk pretty fast without kicking it into your shoes. It works good for ticks. It works good against a snake that might bite your ankle, although the big high boots I would prefer for that. Today, I found out a brand new use for them. I sprayed them with bug spray because I was going this really nasty laundromat and the floor there was roaches everywhere. Worried about tracking them back. And they're good in the snow. And these ones are good for abandoned buildings. They have a steel toe. This one does not have a steel sole, but you can get those if you want to pay like 20 bucks more. Check it out. It looks like they're getting prepared for the winter, these ants. You see they're bringing a bunch of seeds down inside, it looks like. Yeah, they're gathering food. But where do you think all this moisture is coming from? Are they tracking that out from deep in the ground? Looks very wet.